Leeds United are set to face off against Coventry City in a rescheduled FA Cup match as Leeds get to play against Millwall this weekend. What a fun FA Cup match, the magic of the cup. But we're not there yet. We need to talk about the Coventry City match, so we'll dive through the team news, the predicted lineup, how Coventry City tend to play, how we need to respond, and then my predictions for the match. So we're going to start with the team news, and the team news from Daniel Farke's press conference was generally very, very positive. There was only one player with injury issues, and guess who? Guess who it is in this current Leeds United side that is injured? Yep, you would be right. It is Patrick Bamford, leaving us with two centre forwards available. One will presumably be in the first 11, the other will presumably be on the bench, and I'd be very confused if that wasn't the case. And that leaves us with the following predicted lineup. I'm going to go with Ilham Elliott in goal, just because we know that Daniel Farke won't change that yet, especially since he's not really made any mistakes in the past few matches. And he genuinely made a fairly decent save against Cardiff, so that's a step in the right direction. In front of him, I'm going to go with Bogle, Ampadu, Rodon, and Firpo, just because those centre-backs are doing really, really well as a pairing, and the wing-backs are genuinely vicious at this level. They are too good for the Championship, and I think leaving them out would be a mistake. In midfield, I'm going to go forwards and go with Tanaka and Rothwell. Some might argue for Ilya Gruev in this one, but I think Rothwell brings that sort of aggressive push to it that I'm going to get into a little bit later as to why that's going to be so important, with Tanaka staying in for his passing range, calmness on the ball, and just excellence all across the pitch. In front of that, I don't think you can change this line. Manor Solomon had a fantastic game against Cardiff. Dan James, for me, was man of the match. Brendan Aronson proved his worth by being such a key part of that press, and they all played behind Joel Piroe, who a lot of people also have as their man of the match from that game, which completely fair. He looked genuinely incredible to the level that if he was able to do that week in, week out, we would be up by now. In my opinion, you do not change a winning side, and you especially don't change that winning side when they've just won 7-0. It does help to keep the momentum running, so everyone is used to playing with one another. No one gets a little bit mad because they were dropped after being part of a 7-0 win. And I don't think we need to rotate anyone for fitness reasons because we have the perfect opportunity to rotate this Sunday. It's in the FA Cup, so it doesn't matter that much. It's at home, so we'll be fairly comfortable anyway, and it's against Millwall. So it's one of those games where I don't think we're going to be too bothered if we put out a second 11 and end up losing 1-0, when in reality I think our second 11 probably just beats Millwall anyway. I don't see us rotating, I don't see a need to rotate, and I think that would be the best way forward. But the question then becomes, okay, so how does that 11 that just beat Cardiff take the same sort of skills and abilities and use that to beat Coventry City? Well, to do that, we need to learn how Coventry City play, and they are fairly different to Cardiff City. In recent matches, they've used a fairly passive 3-5-2, so I'm going to have a quick look at their recent matches. And they've used a variant on a 3-5-2 in the last 6 matches in a row. Of those matches, they have lost once. One draw in the FA Cup to Sheffield Wednesday, which they managed to win on penalties in the end. They beat Bristol City, they beat Blackburn, they beat Watford, they beat Swansea City. That is not a bad set of teams to beat, especially when you look at Blackburn, who are a side that cause a hell of a lot of sides trouble. They are going to be in the playoffs at the end of the season if they go at this current rate, because John Eustace, very, very good footballer, very, very good football manager. And he's caused us problems time and time again. And the fact that Coventry were able to beat them is very telling. It's also very telling that they transitioned from a 4-2-3-1 into this 3-5-2, and things started improving fairly quickly. So it feels a little bit like Lampard has actually done a tactical clever there. I don't want to give him all that much credit, but he has in this case, and gone from something that wasn't working to something that is working, and that could be something we have to keep an eye on. They have less than 50% in most of their matches using this system, which kind of makes sense. If you're setting out with 5 at the back, you're not going to be the most aggressive side. And they've won their last 4 on the bounce, each of which had very strong defensive performances. In terms of expected goals against, that's 0.9, 0.9, 0.6, and then 0.3 against Swansea City. Defensively, they are becoming very, very good. Balance of probability, they should have conceded 2.7 goals in those 4 matches, which is a really good defensive rate, which is sort of the same average as we've been doing this entire season so far. They ain't a bad side at the back right now. In addition to that, when it comes to going forwards, they use their wing-backs very, very heavily and tend to fire balls in for headed goals and try and just make the most of the fact that they are playing with wing-backs, so use them. That will give Firpo and Bogle something to consider, something to think about. They won't be able to feel like they're able to be as aggressive as they want to be, purely because if the wing-backs are pushing on, then who's marking them if Firpo is in their box and Bogle is doing the same thing down the right-hand side? Could become a little bit of a concern, could also involve the midfielders dropping in a little bit and making sure that we're covered at the back. But there are a few things that Leeds United can do to counter the way that Coventry City are looking to play. And the first one is something that isn't even tactical. It's a pure, straight out, just bring that ruthlessness we had against Cardiff. Against Cardiff, we went 2-0 up, and then we chilled a little bit 2-0 up until half-time. And then it feels like at half-time there was a conversation in the dressing room where Daniel Farke or the captain went in and went, we could just batter these, right? And we came out and we just decided to rack up an absolute cricket score. And it feels like if we come out with that exact same attitude, I don't think there's a team in this league that beat us. We were defensively ridiculously solid. Up top, we were ruthlessly efficient. And in terms of chance creation, we created a disgusting amount of opportunities. I genuinely feel like this can only go one way if we take that mentality forwards. From a more tactical point of view, I think we really need to give Rothwell the freedom to cause problems for their side. If they're playing with 5 at the back and we've got a front 4 because you've got the 2 wingers, number 10, number 9, if you let Rothwell just push up, threaten on various wings, then it makes it really hard to double up on our wide players, which is sort of what we need to be doing. We need to give Solomon the space he deserves. We need to give James the space he deserves. And when that happens, we cause them big problems. Add on to that, it would be good to emphasize security at the back, make sure they're not able to cause us any significant issues, because they've been weirdly good at chance creation recently, Coventry, and it would be ideal if we could let that not happen against us, because we've been very good at keeping the ball away from Milan Meslier for the last few weeks. If we can keep that up, then I can just see us winning this. And we cannot hesitate to play that wide game. They like playing with their wing-backs, and that's really nice for them. Brilliant. Well done, lads. But a 5-3-2 means that you've only got, in terms of wide players, your wing-backs. Occasionally, a central midfielders will drift out there, or a centre-back might push on a little bit. But on the face of it, they've got 2 wide players. We got 4. And all 4 of our wide players are going to be better than their wing-backs. So if we can push that game as wide as possible, we will be dragging centre-backs and central midfielders out of position, causing them problem after problem after problem. And us being able to do that is what will lead to getting more and more chances and ultimately winning this game of football. In terms of predictions, I think we will dominate the ball and I think we'll dominate chances. I don't think they will get as much as they've been getting in recent weeks because we are looking a very, very solid team right now. There's a bit of me that thinks that they might sneak a goal, but I am still hoping for a clean sheet. But I'm going to say we take through that ruthlessness. I'm going to say that we absolutely managed to do to them what we did to Cardiff. Not to the same extent, but I'm going with a Leeds United 3-0 win. Because screw it. Why not? We've got some momentum. Let's use it. But at the end of the day, as always, that is just what I think. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not yet. That's always much appreciated. And you can even become a channel member. I'm putting this video up at something like 8:30 on Tuesday night. But it's going up to everyone on Wednesday morning. So if you want access to these videos a bit earlier, just become a channel member. And it's brilliant and it's good fun. Either way, hope you enjoyed. And I will see you later. Oh, another prediction. Frank Lampard will cry and Leeds 101 will come back this lunchtime. See you there. Toodaloo.